Global Transformation Astrology, GTA, with William Stickevers.
We know we're in the year of the dragon, right? So the year of the dragon happens every 12 years. We often saw sweeping changes in leadership and governance. We just know big things happen, macroeconomic landscape, massive cultural shifts. So let's go and take a look at 2 dragon years when we had elections. So if you go back to 1988, the year of the Earth Dragon, we saw an unexpected landslide where Michael Dukakis was ahead. He was ahead by Halloween, 17 points. That was my first election I actually used astrology on. And when I got the election, I predicted Bush would win. Everyone was like, oh, William, drop that astrology stuff. Dukakis is going to win, right? He's going to win. And then boom, landslide. Even California went red. The only one that didn't go red in the blue wall was Wisconsin. And Dukakis barely won Wisconsin. So we saw this unexpected landslide in the election. And the next time, 12 years later, we see what? The year 2000, the recount, Bush versus Gore. Now, this was unexpected because Bush was expected to win and win really big. And what happened was the outcome of the race was unknown for several weeks due to disputes over close vote totals in Florida. The Green Party candidate, Ralph Nader, received 2 million votes, but no electoral votes. So this sounds very similar to what's happening with RFK. He's not going to win a state, but he's getting traction. Gore won D.C., however, one elector did not cast a vote for him on January 6th. Interesting, right? Hint, hint. Maybe that'll happen. We'll see. Only 5 elections, 1824, 1876, 1888, 2000, and 2016, where the popular vote winner was defeated. So Gore won the popular vote, but what he lost was Florida. He needed Florida to win. So what happened is they had missing Chads, and for weeks this was going on, and the Florida Supreme Court said, we're going to count all 6 million ballots, and we're going to decide the election. Then the U.S. Supreme Court overrides, supersedes the Florida Supreme Court and says, no, we're not doing any recount. Bush wins. He wins by 537 votes, which is insane, right? You would say, why don't you just count everything? And if anyone disputes the state Supreme Court, then the National Supreme Court will basically sanction it. So basically, they put the guy who ended up losing into place. Now, I'm not saying that will happen, but what I'm getting at is we saw during the year of Dragon, right? We saw unexpected outcomes, number one. We saw third-party people getting more votes than they normally get. And we saw one state, if it's a close race, this was really close, right? They both had to win Florida. This is how tight it was. So it ended up going over to Bush, but they never really counted the votes. They did a recount in one county. I think it was 2 counties. It's been a while, but I think 1 or 2 counties, they recounted and they said, that's it. That's the number. Bush wins. So these are scenarios that we have to be watchful for. Now, in a close race, if it's that close, then we can expect an unexpected outcome. Now, let's go back to the bellwether states. And what we're seeing here is that if Florida is going red, Ohio's going red, Nevada's going red, Pennsylvania, we don't know, right? Like in the moment where it's going, but we already know New Hampshire's going to go blue. We already know Colorado's going super blue. New Mexico's going somewhat blue. So if you have the more states that lean, this would be an indicator of who's going to win. Right now, the Democrats know, hey, we're in trouble. We got to get Pennsylvania to flip in order to catch up. We're not going to flip Ohio. We're not going to flip Florida. Maybe we could flip Nevada, but we must flip Pennsylvania. Okay. We had this great solar eclipse. We know unexpected developments occur. So in other words, anything that gets hit by the shadow of the eclipse for the remaining year going forward, and it could be a bit longer, it could be up into a year and a half, we are going to see very unpredictable developments. So this eclipse goes not only through Pennsylvania, but it goes through the area of Pennsylvania where Trump was shot. But it also goes through this key area of Pennsylvania, this key county that will determine the outcome of the election. That's right. Not just Pennsylvania itself. This particular county that is going to be is pivotal or watershed. So this is what I'm getting at here. Could we see a Florida happen in Pennsylvania? We're either going to have 2 scenarios. Whoa, Trump blew out Kamala, or Kamala squeaked by because she won Wisconsin and Michigan. And even though Trump technically won Pennsylvania, we're going to only, you know what I'm trying to say? Even though it looks like he won, but you know what? They're disputing the count, that type of thing, that type of scenario in this area of Pennsylvania. So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just trying to point out possible scenarios. We got to look at all of the scenarios. Now, I happen to think it's going to be more like this. Based on the trends I'm seeing, we're going to see this type of trend. And remember here, whoever wins 2 out of the 3 states always wins the election. Almost always, except in 2000. If you look at historically, if you win Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, you basically won the election, right? If you go back over 100 years in election history, except this time when they actually selected the loser. And by the way, the reason I'm saying is the loser is because the Chicago Opinion Research Center did a complete recount of all 6 million ballots, and Gore won by over 10,000 votes. I forget the exact number. It was over 10,000. So he would have won the election. Just understand this, folks. If you win all 3 of these states, you've won. The probability is you've won this election. Trump knows that. And you have to win at least 2 out of these 3. In Kamala's case, she has to win all 3. Trump just needs to win 1. So this is why Pennsylvania is so crucial. And this is why when I look at the eclipse and I look at the fact that the bellwether state of Pennsylvania only had 2 misses, makes me wonder what's really going on. So Pennsylvania is the tipping point state in 2024. And there is no electoral college pathway for victory for Kamala without Pennsylvania. She needs to be winning decisively in Pennsylvania. She can't be like, yeah, Kamala was down 45-48, but she won the state regardless. That's not going to fly. Trump's margin of error is growing, right? If you go back like 3 months, Trump's been winning the state. So the question is there something in the astrology that can flip the probability of Kamala winning all 3 of these states? People would say, well, this eclipse would indicate that this is going to be an unusual election because it happens to cross both the battleground state of Pennsylvania, the battleground state of Ohio, and the battleground state of Michigan. And if they're going to cheat, William, it's going to be in those 3 states. Because if she wins 2 of the 3, right, she has to win all 3, folks. She has to win all 3. If Trump wins Wisconsin and he loses Pennsylvania, Michigan, he still wins. So this is why I'm saying, is there anything in the astrology that shows that this is going to flip? So I'm telling you right now, this is not a decisive. Something radically has to change. It looks like we're going to have this, and this is what the deep state is going to try and pull, or somebody is going to try and pull a scenario like this, except it won't be Florida this time. Florida will go red for sure. It's going to either be probably Pennsylvania or Michigan. We don't know. So we could see a delay with the result. It's really like we're in unknown territory.
To watch the full presentation and more like this on geopolitics, the economy, and world events from an archetypal and mundane astrological perspective, join the Global Transformation Astrology membership. Go to gta.williamstickevers.com. Become a GTA member today.